Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. It is me, Desiree, and today I got a little collaboration with Kitty Cat Beauty. We're both going to be talking about this palette from Pat McGrath. This is one of the entries in the series that we have called 2 Reviews, 1 Palette, where we both review the same palette and share our experiences with the palette. It's always a lot of fun because usually our opinions are a little different, sometimes they overlap, but this one I feel like we might have different opinions on this palette. So you guys already know who she is. I will link her down below. I cannot wait to see what she thinks about this palette. But yeah, this is the Pat McGrath Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity Eyeshadow Palette. I think this is one of their holiday releases. This is what it looks like. It's really, really big and really, really tall. And here's the back. The palette does open up and it has these 2 little ribbons here to hold it open. And it is a cardboard palette. And I love this packaging. I think it's so cute because sitting here on the table, it stays open. I mean, you can't see it, but it does stay open. You don't have to, it doesn't keep closing or anything. It goes back like the perfect amount just to keep it open. And I like it. I like the packaging of this. I think it's really cute. I love cardboard packaging and I think this one's done really well. It's not too bulky or anything like that. And here are the shades. I am going to hold it upside down. That way I don't have to keep like holding the lid here. But anyway, I just stuck my finger in one of them. Here is the palette. You get 18 shades, 3 mattes, and all the rest are shimmer, glitter, foil, metallic kind of shades. One quick thing, I am coming at this review from the point of view of someone who doesn't own any other Pat McGrath palettes. I don't have any of them. I've never tried any of them. I have tried one palette. Those little ones are like this big. They're like a clear milky white plastic packaging. They're called Mini Eye Ecstasy and they're on clearance right now. I bought one of those a while back. I hated it. I hated it so much. I wanted to throw it in the trash. I didn't. I gave it away, but I didn't like it at all. And it totally put me off the brand's eyeshadows because I was like, ugh, that formula is awful. I do own 3 singles. I have these 3 here. They are freaking amazing. I bought these only a few weeks ago and I think they're fantastic. I loved them so much and I was like, wait, that's the formula that she has. I wonder if that's the formula that's in the palettes that everybody loves so much. So having these 3 shades is what made me want to buy the palette. It is very expensive. I think it's $78. There's 18 shades in here, so I wrote it down. It breaks down to like $4.30 per shadow. So it's not bad when you break it down like that. You're just buying a bunch of $4 eyeshadows all at once. So yeah, here we go. I'm coming at this from someone who doesn't own any of the palettes. I've never tried them, never swatched them, never looked at them. Owning this one doesn't make me want to get another one. I'm saying that because I feel like people that like Pat McGrath, like love Pat McGrath. They buy all the palettes, they know them, they know the formula, they know which shades are overlapping. Apparently this one has some shades from a previous collection. I don't know which ones those are because I don't really follow her. Or I follow her as an artist, but not her brand's makeup at all. So yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with Pat McGrath. This is my first time owning a palette like this. So I am coming at it from someone, somewhat of a novice of Pat McGrath anyway. So I am going to swatch all of this. I'm so glad that I didn't do a first impressions like I was going to when I first got it because I would have hated it and I would have returned it. So when I swatched this palette out when I got it, I immediately was disappointed. I was like, oh my god, this is awful. And I wanted to return it, like I'm not even joking. Kitty Cat Beauty actually had posted that she got this on her Instagram, so I was like, hey, I got that too. And she suggested doing the video, and I was like, oh yeah, we could do that. And luckily she wanted to do it a week later, so I got to try all the shadows and get to know them. There's a huge learning curve with these if you don't know the formula like I do, or like I don't. So I'm glad I got to try this for a whole week. I've had this for 8 days. I've used all the shades. I've used a bunch of them multiple times. And I feel like I've got to know it a lot better. And I'm really glad I didn't do that first impressions because it would not have gone down well. So let me swatch the shades for you. I also am going to demo these. I have some eyeshadow primer on, the KVD Shake Primer. I'll talk about primer in a minute because I have a lot of things to say about the palette and the formula and how it works for me, a complete novice. So yeah, let's swatch it out. There are a bunch of different types of formulas in here. Like some of them feel really flaky, like this one here called Lunar Champagne. And they swatch, oh my god, I just like overlapped the swatch there, but They swatch really, really well, some of them, and some of them swatch really awful. And I had just had a really awful experience with that Makeup by Mario palette that I talked about in my disappointing products video, or no, products I'm returning. And I had just gotten done with that palette. Then I got this and I was like, oh, it's the same. It's a repeat of the same formula. Flaky, doesn't stick on the lid. I just didn't like it at all. So I thought this was going to be just like it. Luckily, it is not. There's the more swatches right there. And I gotta say, the swatches on Sephora's website are what made me want to buy this palette because they look insane. Where did I get up to right here? They're really, really overdone. Like, they layer and layer and layer and layer those swatches. And they make them look like there's something that they're not. And I don't know, because once I got the palette home and I was swatching it and trying it, I'm like, these are nothing like the swatches on Sephora's website that are really, really saturated. And there you go. There's all the shades there. Anyway, the swatches on Sephora, I feel, are a little bit misleading. I don't know. But here's the swatches of the palette. It looks pretty nice based in swatches, but when I first got it, I was like, yuck, I don't want this. Some of the shades here I find really hard to use. A lot of the shimmer shades apply really well with the finger. Actually, every single one of these I only use with my finger. I cannot get these to apply it on a brush to save my life. To put them on a brush here, it either doesn't pick it up or it does, and it will not go onto my eye. Luckily, I do prefer using my finger for eyeshadow, especially what's going on my lid. I prefer it all the way. So luckily, all of these work well with my fingertips, like they're not getting hard pan or anything like that. They pick up really well, obviously, to look at in swatches. And for the most part, I've had a lot of success getting these to transfer from here to here with my fingertips only. I did write a bunch of notes because I didn't want to forget. I wrote pros and cons, actually. The sparkle shades have a crap load of fallout, especially if you're trying to blend out the edges with a brush. So I'm going to get one of these, pat it on my lid, and then I'm getting a little brush to like make it look a little less harsh, or to add in one of the mattes or something, and it'll fall out everywhere. I also find that these shimmery shades don't layer on top of themselves really well. For example, this green one here that is really pretty and I was immediately drawn to goes on nicely on the lid, but I can see my skin through the shade. Like, I have to build it up a little bit. And I found by doing that, not only was I getting a lot of fallout down here just initially in application, throughout the day, it was falling everywhere. It was all over my eyelashes. It was like everywhere, glitter everywhere. And I really didn't like it. And after that happened, I didn't use that one again. I find that to be the same for like a lot of these ones here that feel a little bit like loosely pressed. Like maybe they're not a total shimmer shade. There's something that might require some sort of glitter glue, which I'm not interested in buying or using. I don't like having to take that extra step to make something work. Like I said, I'm coming at this from a novice perspective. I tried out some singles. I loved them a lot. I saw the palette. I thought it was beautiful, so I bought it. I don't know this formula at all. I don't know if that's how they were intended to be used with the finger or with the glitter glue or some sort, but that's been my experience with it anyway. Better with the finger, lots of fallout. I don't like to do my foundation after my eye makeup. It's just not my preference, so I don't like having to do that. But I have found when I use this, I want to do it like that because I get a ton of sparkle, tons of fallout all over my face. And it's that kind that sticks. It doesn't brush away nicely. It's just a lot of sparkle fallout. I've also found that the mattes in here are freaking amazing. Oh my gosh. If Pat McGrath puts out a palette or has one, let me know if you know of one that's all mattes only. I want it. There's only 3 mattes in here, unfortunately. So if you are one of those people that really loves to do a matte crease or a transition shade of some sort and then add shimmer on the lid, there's only 3 choices here in this palette and they're all in the same color family. So any look you do, if you're that person that does like a matte transition or crease shade, you're only going to get a certain amount of looks out of it because these 3 here, they're pretty berry mauve-y tones. Very beautiful. They're so pretty. They blend like a dream. They have a really nice texture to them. They're not dry at all. They're not patchy. They don't streak. They don't skip. They don't stick. They're freaking beautiful. I also find that the mattes go really well with all of these shades. Even the green, even the yellow. They look really pretty with all of them. It's just the varied amount of looks you're going to get. They're all going to be in the same kind of color tone or family of colors because there's not a lot to choose from matte-wise in here. But they are so beautiful. I wore those mattes on their own multiple times. Oh, they were so pretty. What such a joy to work with those mattes. Really, really pretty. I also found that this palette had a serious learning curve for me, especially because, like I've said a million times, I'm such a novice with this brand and with this kind of formula. I did try it with a brush. I was trying to wet the brush. I was trying to get a flat brush, a buffing brush, whatever kind of brushes I was using to get these to transfer from here to here, or to at least just blend around. I also found that these apply only really, really well on top of a primer, like an actual eye primer, not a cream eyeshadow, not a concealer, and not on top of any other powder. So the days that I used a cream shadow, I've actually been really into some of these ColourPop cream shadows. I use the one Laurel quite a bit. It's like a cream shade but has a little hint of pink to it, and I think it went really well with these. But these shimmer shades in here don't stick well to anything other than a bare eyelid or an actual eyelid primer. And I was having a ton of frustration with this palette because of that. So I would get one of these mattes, buff it all over the lid, one of the shimmers on the finger, and it would not stick. It would not stay. It wouldn't go anywhere other than all falling down here, and it was driving me nuts. So I tried it with nothing. I tried it with concealer, the cream shadow, and then with a primer, but I was using like one of these mattes all over first, but I found that the shimmers just don't stick well to it at all. For me personally, I've only found these work well with bare eyes, so I am going to try these today or demo it for you using the Shake Primer from KVD because this is clear, but it does leave a little tack that these stick beautifully too. These two are a match made in heaven. I really like this primer in general anyway, but matched with this palette, it made my experience with this palette a million times better. Once I realized to put them on just a bare lid, it was like, yes, this palette is amazing now. I love it. So there's that. I don't find them, I can't get them to stick to anything. And it had a big learning curve. Okay, some pros about the palette. Like I said, the mattes are freaking amazing. I wish there was more in here. They blend so well. I love them so much. I also said these were really nice over a primer. The lasting power of these is really nice, except for a couple of shades. So this one right here, what's that one called? Saturnalia. This one right here, this red one. This one I cannot get to apply on my eyelid nicely to save its life. So in a swatch, it looks really pretty, and that's one thing that's always misleading with swatches is because swatches, you can make anything look really great in a swatch. Even with primer, I tried this with the primer with concealer as a primer and a cream shadow. It doesn't stick and it goes on super patchy. And I also noticed it gathered and kind of faded away in my like crease line of my eye. That one I didn't like whatsoever. But other than that, I found the lasting power with these to be really, really lovely. And then the shimmers are really pretty, unlike anything I have, and that is true. A lot of these shades, I don't have anything like these. And I don't necessarily buy something because it's like, I have nothing like that, I must get it. But these are truly like a formula I haven't had a lot of experience with, shades I don't own, and yeah, for the most part, overall, I think this palette was really, really good. It had a huge learning curve. You're not going to get a varied amount of looks with it if you love matte shadows in your crease. I think the price was right with this palette. I like the packaging. I like the shade selection. Once I got over the learning curve and really found how I liked to work with these, I've been really, really enjoying it a lot. I don't regret buying it now. I'm glad I didn't do that first impressions video. But yeah, swatches I don't think are represented well on Sephora's website either. And I do have to do my eyeshadow first with this palette if I don't want a ton of sparkle under my eyes. I didn't do that today, so we'll see how the fallout situation is. I'm gonna do, let me see what shade I want to demo. I think I want to go with this one. Now that I swatched it, let me tell you about one of the shades. One of the only shades I really didn't like, other than this one that didn't last very long. This one down here in the bottom, I think is so weird, and I just don't like the way it looks. It's this one right here, and it looks maroon in the pan. It's called Corruption, and it's right here. It looks maroon, but when you look at it in different lights, it's not gonna pick up on camera. I can see it. It looks green, but in a swatch and on the eyes, it looks muddy, and I don't like it. Like it has, I hope it's picking up anything. It has this weird like gray brown tone to it that's not, I don't think, flattering. And when I wore this one on my eye, just with my finger with nothing else on, I couldn't see where the eyeshadow was. Like I could see some red right here, but because the eye is curved, the other side was only picking up that muddy kind of look. It looked like I had a super muddy eye and I tried to cover it up with some red. I really, really did not like that shade at all. You know what, maybe I'll do the green one, because the green one is one I didn't give a lot of chances to once it like fell all over my face. But now that I've gotten the learning curve down, okay, I'm gonna do the matte pink here. This one's called Venusian Orchid. That's a cool name. What's that one next to it called? Dragonfly. Okay, Dragonfly is this really pretty one here. I think I'm gonna do Dragonfly, Venusian Orchid, and the green one, which is called Megabyte. So yeah, first I'm gonna go with that matte. I'm gonna do really hard, I'm gonna try really hard not to get the matte anywhere on my lid, because like I said, I can't get these to stick on anything to save my life. So I'm just gonna put this like up here, because I find if I start with the matte shade, rather than putting the glitter on and then going like this with the matte afterwards, it causes a lot of fallout. So I'm just gonna get this like basically where I would want it. But anybody out there watching this video that is a Pat McGrath connoisseur, and it's so funny because I followed Pat McGrath literally since I was a teenager, just because I would see her in magazines all the time, and I love magazines. And back then, I would always see her name like on certain editorials and stuff. And I was like, who is that? And I just kind of followed her ever since then. I thought she was really cool. And then when I heard she was coming out with the makeup line, I actually thought it was going to be a makeup line made for working professionals, like not a makeup line available at your local Sephora. I thought it was going to be like, you know, those brands that do behind the scenes kind of makeup that we don't really hear a lot about in the regular mass makeup market. That's what I thought it was going to be. And then when it came out, I don't know, I find the sequins that she puts in the packaging to be a little cheap. I feel like it cheapens the look of the brand. That's just me. But anyway, there's that matte pink all over. And then I'm going to do that green one. What was it called? Megabyte. Carefully on the eyelid. There it is. I also like to pat off, just like gently, like kind of almost just tap it too, any little sparkle fallout, because as you can see, look how much just fell off of my finger just from tapping it. That's going to kind of, I don't know, minimize the fallout situation a little bit. And this KVD primer is amazing if you're looking for something to get your shadows to stick onto without making them skip, because I feel like sometimes some primers are too tacky, too sticky, and they kind of make your shadows skip, and this one does not do that, and it really holds on to these really, really pretty glittery shades. I wouldn't even describe them as glitters, though. I think they're more just like, I don't know, intense shimmers or something. All right, we're just gonna pat this on, and then I am gonna blend a little bit, just the line that's right there. Ooh, that one I need a little bit more. Or I went too high with that one. I was like, either I need to add more here or take off there. It's always easier to add more. Okay. I'm just gonna blend the line out a little bit. Doesn't look too separate-y. I might need some more of that pink actually. I try not to touch the shimmer once I got it on there because it will just freaking fall everywhere. And I got a little bit of fallout. I knew that was going to happen because it always does. I think I'm going to take that dark matte one right there and kind of just pop it on the outer corner. I feel like I'm going to make a mess doing this. Just lightly. Didn't go as planned, but that's okay. Let's just blend it. I don't know how I'm going to work Dragonfly in here. Maybe in the inner corner. I know the look I'm doing is nothing to write home about, but that's okay. I am a novice. And then Dragonfly is that one right there. It's one that has like a little duochrome quality to it. It's really pretty. A little purple, a little green. It's that one right there. A little red. I see the purple in real life, but in the camera it's looking just really red. I'm going to do that one on like the inner part of my eyelid. I can feel the fallout already falling on my face. Or when I use this, I'm like, I can already feel how it's going to go. But let's just put it on. And every time I see people do looks with Pat McGrath too, I always felt this pressure to do the most with a palette, especially when you're doing a demo or a tutorial or something. Or your tutorial is on a palette. It's like you got to use as many shadows as you can and do something really wild. Otherwise, it's like, what a waste of time or something. I don't know. That's just me. Okay. I think that looks okay. I feel like over here it's looking a little patchy. Let's do a little bit more of that light pink one and just kind of go over. The only thing I don't like about using a clear primer is I don't like getting to see my skin through the eyeshadow. I like when it's completely blanked out. All right, I'm gonna even up this real quick here. Throw on some lower eyeshadow. I think I'm just gonna use my little brush here and do the pink with the dark one in the outer corner. Black eyeliner, mascara. Join you back here in just a second because the most part of the tutorial is done, or the demo anyway. Yeah, hold on. All right, so I was just putting mascara on, but I feel like this angle, you can see a little bit more of the shades on my eyes. I love that Dragonfly shade in the middle. In the inner part of my eye, it works really well with that green one. And I really like the pink too. I think it works well with the green. I think they picked some nice transition shades. Even though there's only 3 and they're all in the same family of colors, I think they go really well with all of the shimmers and glitters and stuff. So yeah, there's that. Let me finish my mascara now. Okay, I am back. Put on some eyeshadow on the lower lash line. I feel like this one is looking a little harsh. There we go. A little eyeshadow on the lower lash line, some black eyeliner on the waterline. I used the Makeup by Mario pencil. I really, really like this one. It's so black. And then mascara, I'm using this L'Oreal Air Volume. It's not my favorite, but I have it, and I ran out of my Lash Sensational from Maybelline that I love so much. So lashes I wish were a little more dramatic because I feel like it would go well with this eye look. Maybe I'll try to build that up in a second. But anyway, wrapping up my thoughts on the palette, I like this palette. Now that I've gotten over the initial ness of it and the swatches and everything, the learning curve was huge with this, but now that I've gotten to know it, I feel pretty well. I like it. I don't regret buying this for a second. It doesn't make me want to go buy any more for palettes. I feel like this is plenty for me from Pat McGrath to get to have and experiment with. The price I think was right with this. The quality, the amount of shadows you're getting. I really like it. I love the packaging. And yeah, I can't wait to see what Kat says. Let me know what you think about this palette. What other Pat McGrath things do you own? I would love to know your opinions as always. Go check out Kat's video. I cannot wait to see what she thinks. And I'll see you later in another one. Thanks for watching this. Ooh, I really like this. Came out nice. Anyway, see you later. Goodbye.